Okay, guys, I just had an idea to try and help agents figure out what mistakes to avoid in this difficult market if you want to survive. So these are the 8 mistakes killing agents' businesses, right? These are the 8 things that I think that in this particular down market are going to be fatal mistakes. Any one of these is going to contribute to agent businesses failing. So in no particular order, here they are. Number 1, no big surprises for guessing this one, overvaluing to get the listing, right? What I call list and lock into a long sole agency agreement. Because if you overvalue in a falling market, you are making the job of selling it much, much harder. Even if you do sell it at all, you're going to be having to manage the vendor down so much further than in normal market conditions that overvaluing means you're going to have lots of stock on your books that you just can't sell. It's going to make you look bad, as well as costing you lots of money and not earning you any fees. So that's number 1. Number 2, failing to sell. And that might sound obvious, but in this market, it's worse than usual, okay? If you fail to sell someone's instruction, in this market, when people need to sell and you let them down, they're not going to forget it. Apart from anything else, again, costing you money, wasting you time, making you look bad. But failing to sell in this market will do more damage to your business than in normal markets. Number 3, not qualifying your buyers to the maximum possible level. A, when they register, but especially when they want to make an offer, okay? In this market, you do not want to be wasting time or putting together flaky deals that are going to fall apart. You need to qualify the buyers to the maximum possible level, because not only do you don't want the deal falling through for your client, but for yourself as well. It's that much harder holding a deal together in this market that you really don't want to have deals falling apart because you didn't properly qualify the buyer in the first place. You can do a whole other video on qualifying buyers, but the good ones amongst you will know what that means. Number 4, listing flaky sellers. Taking on instructions from people who aren't that committed to moving. People who, well, they'll sell if they get the right price and they'll sell if they can afford the house they want and that kind of stuff. In this market, you just want to walk away from those sellers and leave them to somebody else because they will just waste your time. The chances of them actually selling through you is so low in this market, let them go to other agents. You only want the clients that you are sure are committed to selling. In this market, if I was an agent, I wouldn't list anyone unless I was satisfied that they really, really had to move and wanted to move. So that's number 4. Number 5, I get constant reports from my Moving Home with Charlie audience about agents effectively laughing at buyers' low offers. And this has been going on for quite a few months now. And not only is it unprofessional and just rude, it also makes you make yourself look really stupid when you got to call that buyer back a few weeks later and go, is that offer still on the table? There is never a good reason to laugh in the face of a buyer's offer. The professional thing to do is to acknowledge it, thank them for making the offer, and tell them that you'll put it to the client and see what they say. There's just no point, right, in laughing at it. I mean, if the offer's way too low and you think you can talk up a better offer, by all means do that. But don't ever laugh at a buyer's offer. It is the height of unprofessionalism and just amateurishness. Just don't do it. That's number 5. And if you do it in this market, you will be remembered, because don't forget, those buyers looking to buy in this market are the sellers of a few years from now. And you will just be ruled out if they become an owner selling in your patch. It's incredibly short-sighted and stupid to laugh at a buyer's offer, even if it is too low. Number 6, not keeping yourself aware of what's happening in the news insofar as it affects the housing market, right? If you aren't up to date with what's happening with the economy and with matters of national interest that affect the economy, people's job security and the housing market, you're just going to look like a rookie amateur. So make sure that you're up to speed on the basics of what's happening in the economy that's going to affect the housing market. And don't just parrot the headlines. Don't just be a mainstream media useful idiot that just says, well, and also it's equally silly to just go, well, you don't have to believe the mainstream media. You know, what you need to do is look at what's being reported, form your own opinion, but don't just come across. If you want someone to trust you with selling their most valuable asset, you don't want to come across as someone who takes no interest in the truth of what's happening in the economy. Don't dismiss bad news as doom and gloom, because if it's true, you'll look stupid. And don't dismiss good news as being overly positive either. Just try to be objective about it. Be a level balancing influence for your clients. They want stability in this market. Number 7, list and hope. Now, what I mean by that's a mistake, which a lot of people make. So I'm not necessarily saying that you're listing at an overvalue. Let's just say that you are listing your client's property at a sensible price. But if you're just going to list it on your website, on the portals, and hope you get inquiries in this market, I'm afraid hope is not a strategy. In this market, if you aren't proactive and if you don't have a very definite plan to get it sold, you're going to fall foul of this market and end up not selling. Okay, you need to have a proactive strategy that will ensure you get your client viewings no matter what happens. All right, and number 8, the last one of all, but arguably the most important one of all. Not getting business in the first place is bad because you can't run a business if you've got no clients, right? But listing instructions you then lose is even worse because you put all that time and money and effort into winning the instruction and you've lost it anyway. But nothing costs you more money than a deal that falls through, because you've had to go through the time and money of investing in winning the instruction in the first place. You then had to go through the marketing time and cost of promoting that property, doing the viewings, the time spent tying up the offer, all of that stuff for it only to fall through because you didn't hold the chain together properly. So number 8 is chain management weakness, or just sloppy chain management. In this market, my first call every morning I get to work would be chasing up any deals in my pipeline, making sure that I know what's happening up and down the chain, making sure I can preempt any problems. I would be doing that before anything else. So that's number 8. All right, guys, I hope that's helpful. Any questions, let me know. But in the meantime, look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.